Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of the Evolution Show. So grab a cup of tea, sit back, relax, and let's catch up. Hey, so we've had a bit of a week here at Evolution. It's been a little chaotic since the last time we recorded. We had to get boarded up for the election. Thankfully, everything remained pretty quiet downtown, so it was done out of an abundance of caution, and everything ended up okay on that end, so that's good. But we were closed for a few days, and I know a few people stopped by and left us confused messages as to why that was. So for anyone watching, that's why we were boarded up for a few days, but we're open for business now and back to normal. And then separately, completely randomly after that, our store actually got broken into and burglarized for the first time in 27 years of doing business. Thankfully, the cops caught the guy, and no major damage was done inside the store. He broke the glass door, so that's probably the biggest expense we're going to have to replace. But thankfully no one was hurt and they caught the guy, so everything is okay on that end. But anyway, that's been a bit of a past, couple of weeks have been a little bit of a roller coaster for us emotionally, but thankfully everything is okay now. And what we really want to do is look forward to the future in a positive way. And so I'm very pleased to provide you with an update this week on one of the things. If you've been following our show for the past, several months that we've been doing it, over the summer we introduced the idea of setting up an Evolution Scholarship Fund. And that was a way that we felt we could give back to our community, give back to young people, and really try and be a positive force for good and do our part. So we're very excited to announce that we have finished setting that up. So that is going to officially be happening very, very soon. And so I will give you the details on that. So we are going to be doing this scholarship through a local high school that is near where our store is. It's called Manhattan Comprehensive Night and Day High School. And it's actually a really unique high school. In New York City, I've never actually heard of another school quite like it, and it happens to be where Mike, my husband, graduated from in 2005, so quite a few years ago. And it is very unique in that it caters to sort of non-traditional students. It caters to kids who are maybe a little bit older than the average student going to high school. A lot of schools won't accept students into their high school programs if they're over 18 or 19 or something like that. So this school allows kids, young adults, who haven't necessarily had the straightest academic path, gives them a chance to complete their high school education, which I think is fabulous. And it is also especially receptive to immigrants and people from all over the world who have different kind of educational backgrounds that may or may not translate into the American system. So we're going to be setting up a scholarship fund with them, with the school, through the school. And on Friday, November 20th, we hope that you will all come out and shop in the store, because half of all of the sales from that day are going to be given directly to this scholarship fund, which will then go directly to the recipient of the scholarship this year. So please come out and support this worthy cause on Friday, November 20th. Please stop by the store and make a purchase, and half of all of our sales that day are going to be going directly to the recipient. And her name is Liangsuting, and she is a really bright young woman. She has such a tremendous future in front of her, and we're so pleased that Manhattan Comprehensive selected her to be the recipient of the scholarship this year. It was really, it's really been wonderful getting to know her and talk to her a little bit, and working with the school to set this up. Everyone has been really helpful in doing that. And so again, I'll repeat it one more time, because I really want you to come out and support everyone and support this cause and support Liangsuting on Friday, November 20th. Please stop by the store for Scholarship Day. And here's our interview with Liangsuting. But yeah, anyway, so when did you start going to Manhattan Comprehensive? How many years ago?
About 2 years ago.
Okay.
When I leave my country, moved to New York, yeah, and 2 years ago, maybe 2 years and a half.
Okay.
And you're from China, right?
No, my parents are Chinese, but I was born in Venezuela.
Oh,
So
really?
Okay.
yeah,
Wow,
yeah.
that's cool. I was born in Brazil, and I came here in 2002, and I end up in Manhattan Comprehensive as well.
I think Manhattan Comprehensive is provide a great opportunity, education opportunity to the new immigrants,
Yeah,
especially they
absolutely.
want to keep their education, uh, and even the age is not like a normal student in America. They can study in this school, and which is I think is which is really good stuff for yeah.
Yep, totally. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, it's very unique. Most schools have this age requirement where if you're over, 18 or 19, you can't enroll in the high school. So, for someone who's coming to this country who's a little bit older, but who wants to finish their education properly and have like
Yeah.
a real high school diploma at the end, it's one of the only programs I've ever heard of
Yeah, and
who does that kind
a
of
lot
thing.
of the people that go to Manhattan Comprehensive have high school degrees from their own country,
And they just need to get
and
like
they
a new
need to
one.
get an American one. That happens very often. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow.
And so, are you going to college now?
Right. Yeah, I'm in FIT, Fashion Institute of Technology, also in Manhattan.
And what are you doing there?
I was studying in this 2 year. I plan in this 2 year communication design foundation. My major is.
Cool. I saw some of your art. It looks really cool.
I think it's very abstract. And before that, I don't really understand the abstract art, modern art. And
Yeah.
then in the class called design studio, the professors told us give an assignment to make an design to express the simplicity to complexity. So I make the and use maybe a triangle, circle, or square to make the design, the layer design.
Cool. Well, I mean, that's one of the great things about being able to go to college is that you get, to explore all of these,
Right.
new concepts, and it really allows you to like, expand your mind. It's wonderful. So you're having a good experience there so far?
Yes, yes.
That's good. So, are you more interested in art or fashion or both?
Um, I was interested in the animation making, but I also like cross design because I like to do the character design. So I was interested in the fashion design also, something like graphic design. Yeah,
Cool.
it's a good as a combination. If I study about animation making.
Yeah, that's so cool. That's awesome. So what do you want to pursue ultimately? Like, what's your ultimate career goal, if you could imagine
Um,
that?
I want to be an animator, and I want to make the animation that have that will express and shows the culture thing, whatever the Easter or Western or the Spanish or every word, every ethnic
Mm-hmm.
race culture in the uh, in animation. Yeah,
That's
and I
that's
think
wonderful.
yeah, I think the media animation could be could have an audience can be for all age, children, adults. So I would like to make this kind of menu to express the culture thing.
That's so great. I mean, that's just one of the things about art, right? Is it can really communicate to people from all over the world. It can connect lots of different cultures and ideas. And you have such an interesting, unique background. I'm sure that you have a really unique perspective to bring to that. I think that's wonderful. All right, so is that good? Okay,
Yeah.
well, thank you so much, Liangsuting, for taking the time to speak with us today. We wish you the best of luck. I think that you're going to do great things. Obviously, you're a very motivated young lady, and you're going to continue to do really, really great stuff. So thank you so much for joining us today, and good luck.
Thank you. Thank you,
All
Jen.
right.
Okay.
Thank you. Nice talking to
Bye.
you today.
Bye.
Yeah,
Take
bye.
care.
All right. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
So Liangsuting is our scholarship recipient, is an aspiring artist, and that's got us thinking a little bit about art in general and art in our store in particular. And one of the main sort of collections of art that we have that is really beautiful is our Seba prints. So that's what I wanted to talk to you guys about today. If you're not familiar with the name Albertus Seba, I'll tell you a little bit about him. He was an apothecary that lived in the 1700s in the Netherlands. And even though his name is on this collection of prints, he's actually not the artist, which I thought was interesting. All of these prints are actually illustrations that were commissioned by him for his own purposes, but the actual artists are unknown to us. So I thought that that was, one thing that's interesting about how artists are recognized today versus, back in the 1700s. And Liangsuting, as an aspiring artist, I hope gets all of the recognition that she deserves in the future in her career. So anyway, back to Albertus Seba. So as I said, he was an apothecary. So he was a man of science, and he was very interested in the natural world. And he had an amazing cabinet of curiosities. So back in the day, before there were public museums, there were people, rich people in particular, would collect specimens and put them in their cabinets of curiosity. So they would have sometimes entire rooms decorated inside their homes with collections from all over the world, sometimes from their own travels, sometimes from other people's travels that they would get. And they would, identify all of these weird things, and they would show them off to their friends. People would come and visit the collections. So it really was sort of a primitive form of a museum, which now, obviously, nowadays museums are, open to the public. These were sort of private collections that people would visit.
Sorry to interrupt. Do we know what he did? I imagine he was in trade.
He was an apothecary.
Oh. Sorry, I don't know what that means.
Like a pharmacist.
Is that right?
Yeah, that's what an apothecary was.
Oh,
yeah.
Man, I feel like
so he was a man of science. Yeah. He was interested in biology and medicine and the natural world. A pharmacist
back then had enough capital to collect all of these things?
I imagine he was not, sort of just working the counter. He was basically, like a doctor, he was someone who probably had, a lot of influence in trade and, had connections with people all over the world who would go out and, collect the ingredients for different medicines and stuff like that. I imagine that might have been a way that he sort of got interested in travel or was connected with other, exotic places that would get strange herbs and stuff that he would use for medicine. So I imagine that that's sort of the worlds in which he was immersed.
That sounds pretty cool.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. So you can imagine, just, rows of bottles and tinctures and
absolutely,
droppers and, chemistry,
and his curio collection.
And also these amazing specimens that he collected from all over the world. And so anyway, so he commissioned artists because obviously not everyone could come and view his collection. He also was kind of interested in perpetuating scientific knowledge and exploration, and so he decided to have all of the pieces in his collection illustrated for posterity, and he collected all of those images and put them into 4 volumes, which he eventually called his Thesaurus of the Natural World. So it was basically kind of the first encyclopedia of the natural world, an illustrated encyclopedia, so which is really unique and wonderful. And so that was his gift, that was his legacy. He was well known during his day, and his his fame only grew posthumously. Nowadays we have tons of species that are actually named after him because of his enduring influence on exploration and natural science. He's one of the greats in this area, so his influence is still recognized today. And so the illustrations, so they were commissioned, they were engravings on copper plates, right? And so the plates themselves would get imprinted onto paper, and then they would be bound into books. And there were 4 volumes, like I said. And this here, which I wanted to show you today, is one of the original printings from his books, right? So this was printed in the 1700s, and if Mike can maybe get a close-up picture, I'm sure he can show you here. There is a seam going down the middle where you can actually see that it was 2 pieces, it's a page basically in a book, and there's the seam going down the middle. And so all of the prints that we have in our collection are reproductions from original engravings. So we have 50 original engravings from the 1700s in near perfect condition. And we were able to get them reproduced using really high quality printing methods and scanning methods, so you can see every single detail, and we have 50 different ones. There are more out there, but that is still quite a lot. And this particular one, I believe, is volume 3, plate 93. Yeah, so you don't see the volume number on here, but you do see the plate number in the upper right corner. It says tab XC 111, or III, right? Roman numerals, right? So that's 93, I believe. And tab meaning tabula, which means plate, right? So this was the 93rd plate, copper engraved plate of the 3rd volume. And what I wanted to contrast this piece, which we have, this is part of our personal collection, versus the pieces that we have available for sale in the store. The primary difference that you'll see is that this one is colored, this one is painted, and the ones that we have in the store are black and white. And the ones that are black and white are actually more valuable because when they were originally printed, they were not printed in color, they were printed in black and white. Over the years, as people kept these beautiful engravings, they decided to not just study them, but display them in their home. They became works of art. They started as a sort of scientific record and developed into works of art that people wanted to have framed and displayed in their home. And so what they decided to do, a lot of those people, is to paint over them and make them more sort of pretty, right? This is kind of like today, I think we would all kind of agree that that's a bastardization, that you can't, paint over an immaculate, beautiful, original print from the 1700s. And honestly, if you look at this very closely, it's not even that carefully done. I mean, it is a beautiful piece, but if you look really closely, you can see how the paint has really gone over so much of the beautiful detail and is obscuring it. And in some spots, the painter didn't even paint inside the lines. They went over the lines or under the lines. In some places, there are blank spots and patches. So while I understand that they wanted to make this more vivid, more lifelike, they've actually kind of, I think, detracted from the original beauty of the print, which is the beautiful black and white engraving. You can see all the little etchings. It is such a beautiful piece of work on its own. So I see this, it's beautiful, but I really think that the originals are so much more, they bring so much more value. And in fact, on the market today, if you have an original printing in black and white, it's actually worth more than a painted one because they're so much rarer, because so many people painted over theirs. So I just thought that was interesting. And then just to use this one as an example, as I said, there are 50 different styles. I don't have 50 different painted ones, I just have this one.
We actually have, I think, 3. This is our 3rd one, yeah. We have 2 in our warehouse, in our home upstate, and that one. Painted,
ones?
yeah. The 2 bird ones and the snake.
Okay.
So we have 3 painted ones. And I believe we have 100 of the original prints, the black and white plates. But we printed the 50 that Bill liked the best.
Yeah.
My
dad.
Yeah.
Yeah, so maybe if you guys want, we could have some more scanned and reproduced, because if we have more different styles.
Yeah, I think we have more different.
But 50 is already a lot to manage and keep track of. We have a huge sort of shelf in our warehouse with like little tiny slots for each different print, and it's so much to manage. And if you've been in our store, all the way in the back of the store, we have this really beautiful sort of, I think they're called like folio drawers or something like that. They're very thin drawers, very long and deep, that you can pull out, and you have all the prints laid out, and it's just fun to look through them. But managing 100 different prints is giving me anxiety, so we're not I think we'll stick to 50 for now. But I wanted to point out with this, so the point in making these illustrations was to capture realistic portraits of animals and plants and stuff like that for scientific study. So obviously there's an aesthetic composition to this, but also, top of mind for Seba as he commissioned these illustrations was scientific accuracy. And so while this particular snake looks a little cartoony, which I think is interesting, there really was an effort to try and capture accurate proportions, accurate details. You can see on the original print, which we'll put up for you, you can see every single scale of this snake is detailed one at a time. And not only the scales, but the little, there are little sort of raised edges on the bottoms of each scale, and that has been captured as well. Really, the detail is so minute. And I don't have the key for this, so I don't know what the numbers refer to, but I'm in the letters, but this is, notated as number 1, number 2, A, and B. So there was obviously, there would be like a legend or a key explaining what each of these different anatomical features were that they were pointing out. Obviously, the snake is the first specimen, and this plant here is the second specimen. And also, interestingly, when he commissioned, the reason that he decided to put both of these in the same image is because these are both from the same place. So the snake and this plant would have coexisted in the same environment, and so that's why he decided to have them illustrated together. And he's pointing out here with the little A mark, I imagine he's pointing out something about either the animal's tongue or its fangs, right? That's something that would have been a point of interest, for example. And then over here, you actually see the snake's testicles. So that was a point of interest as well, that he wanted to make sure that nobody missed. So all of this is just, it's beautiful artwork. It's really interesting from a scientific perspective. Another thing that was interesting that he did is he didn't only rely on the specimens in his cabinet of curiosities. He also relied on descriptions of animals from other explorers and natural historians. So you'll see in our collection, there's, for example, a hydra, which is a mythical creature, but apparently enough people believed back then that it was real, and there were enough descriptions from scientists and explorers detailing what it looked like and its proportions and all of that, that he was able to use that basis to commission a very accurate portrait of what a hydra would look like, which I think is wonderful. So there are a few mythical creatures thrown in there, which were part of the sort of established scientific knowledge back then. But for the most part, it's just accurate representations of actual animals and plants and stuff like that, which is just great. They're really beautiful pieces. I hope that you check them out. And they are the perfect marriage of art and science. that we love so much here at Evolution. So I hope that you will check out the collection. Like I said, there are 50 different styles to choose from. Most of them are this size, which is the sort of double page, right? So there would have been a split in the middle, both sides of the page of the book. But we do have a few that were, and these are, reproduced exactly to scale. So they're exactly the same size as the original printings. There were a few illustrations that were just half. So there would have been 2 different illustrations on opposite pages. So there are a few that are like that are sort of half size, but for the most part, they're this size, which is a really nice size to hang on the wall. It's not too big, not too small. You can have it framed any color that you want. We have a really nice gold frame here with a sort of golden black mat, but you can do anything you want. It's very versatile, works with lots of different decor styles, lots of different tastes, and because it's black and white, it's super versatile. It can go with any different color palette that you have in your home. So I hope that you check those out and that you enjoy exploring Seba's catalog of prints as much as I love looking at them as well. So thanks for watching another episode of The Evolution Show. Please be sure to comment and subscribe. Make sure to follow us on YouTube and Facebook, and we're also posting these on Instagram, IGTV now. So please follow us on all of the things. And just to thank you so much for your support, we're going to read a couple comments from some viewers and participants in our most recent scavenger hunt for Halloween, which we had so much fun doing. So Anne did the scavenger hunt online, which I think is great. I think it's awesome that people were able to participate in something Halloween-y online instead of going like trick-or-treating or partying this year. She said she found out all of the clues and found out the secret password. And she said, phew, I took way too long to do that. Thank you so much. I think that is very emblematic of the feedback that we've been getting in general. We were in the store all day on Saturday, on Halloween, and we had so many people come in and say that they had a really fun time and that the clues were challenging but not impossible, which is exactly what we were going for. And we had people of all ages participate. Some people, breezed through it in 10 minutes, and some people were in the store for 45 minutes. We gave everyone who participated a free gift, some of which were valued at over $100, and some of them which were less expensive. It was kind of a random, grab bag of gifts, and it's just it really gave us such a boost of positivity that everyone enjoyed participating and had a good time. So if you participated online or in store, thank you so much. We really appreciate the support. We appreciate you coming out, and we hope to maybe do something again like this in the future. So if you enjoyed our scavenger hunt, let us know if you'd like us to do another one sometime, and we would be happy to put that together for you. So in the meantime, thanks again for watching, and we'll see you soon. Bye! I can't, it's too hot. I can't sip it.
All right, put it down.